McGenius guy, whatever the hell he is, nerd boy. But anyway, their team has no respect for the coach.
What a disaster. What an absolute disaster. It only took 4 weeks for Rex Ryan to be proven right. The Miami Dolphins have no respect for their head coach, Mike McDaniel. And after what happened yesterday, I doubt they have any respect for Tua Tagovailoa, the happy-go-lucky doofus that is currently disguised as their franchise quarterback. The Dolphins, they're starting to remind me of the last 4 years of destruction under our former fearless leader, Johnny B. Biden, because the Miami Dolphins are struggling with the exact same thing, a complete lack of leadership. If you want to know what a leaderless organization looks like, this is it. You know, your true character, it gets magnified when you are going through struggles. It's easy to be a leader when everything's going your way. It's easy to be a leader when you're winning. But true leadership emerges when you're losing. Some people in New Orleans do not like Spencer Rattler. Since training camp, they have been begging to see Tyler Shuck. Now, whether or not Spence Rattler is the quarterback of the future in New Orleans, I don't know. He struggles with accuracy, especially down the field, which is something that normally doesn't improve with age. But to his credit, Spence has improved every week. But the one thing I like most about Spencer Rattler, he is a dog. He is a leader. I never have to question his preparation. I never have to question whether he's giving 100% on the field. And Spencer Rattler seems to be highly respected by his teammates. One of the reasons I think he is highly respected, Spence doesn't throw his teammates under the bruised caboose. Unlike Donnie Carr, unlike Tua the Pua, Spencer Rattler doesn't blame everyone else when the Saints lose. And trust me, he would be somewhat justified blaming others because he is not the reason that the Saints are losing. Chris Olave is a bust. At this point, I would be willing to trade Chris Olave for Chris Cuomo. Hey, it's me, Chrissy C. I'd be willing to trade Chris Olave for Chris Cuomo and a draft pick to be named later. This dude never makes contested catches. He never makes a play when it matters. It would be different if Chris Olave was drafted in the 5th round or he was an undrafted free agent, but the Saints wasted a first-round pick on this dude, and he continues to be a massive disappointment. Juwan Johnson's terrible. Rashid Shaheed is a punt returner playing receiver because the Saints have no other option. Alvin Kamara is washed and on a terrible contract. I hated that contract extension when the Saints gave it to him last season, and I hate the contract even more now. And it's not because I don't like Alvin Kamara. He's one of my favorite players. But this contract is another example of the Saints treating the organization like a family instead of a business. They couldn't pay Trey Hendrickson. They couldn't pay Alex Anzalone. Hell, they refused to put Zach Bond on the damn field. But they found a way to pay a 31-year-old running back who is years past his prime because Kamara is part of the family. The point is, Spencer Rattler is limited by the lack of talent around him. Yes, it's his job to elevate the team, but there is plenty of blame in New Orleans, and Rattler isn't the problem. Yet, for some reason, he continues to take responsibility. He continues to face the media. He continues to say that he needs to be better. Chris Olave refused to speak to the media yesterday. Spencer Rattler, he faced the media and refused to throw a single teammate under the bruised caboose because that is what leaders do. Not Tua Tagovailoa. No. Instead of taking responsibility, instead of blaming himself for that turd of a performance yesterday, Tua decided to publicly blame everyone else. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel in the description below. Later today on the second channel, going to be talking about Big Game James being fired by Penn State. They are finally happy in Happy Valley. The James Franklin era is mercifully over. Looking at his overall record, it might not make sense as to why Penn State would fire a winning coach, but I'll explain why it was the right decision to fire James Franklin. So if you haven't already, click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. Dolphins dropped to 1-5 yesterday after their soft-ass defense collapsed in the final minute of the fourth quarter. To be honest with you, the Dolphins are actually winless. Their one win of the season shouldn't really count because it came against the Jets. Tua was god-awful yesterday, again. He did lead the Dolphins on a potential game-winning drive late in the fourth quarter, but outside of that, it was another typical turd of a performance from Tua. This dude has, and always will be, potential guy. He shows flashes of greatness. He shows glimpses of what he could potentially be. But even when he was at Alabama, I was never really a big believer in Tua. I remember his first or maybe second year in the NFL, he wouldn't throw the ball over 10 yards. Although Tua wasn't the reason the Dolphins lost yesterday, he also wasn't the reason that they didn't lose. After another multi-interception game, his second of the season, Tua was in no position to be blaming everyone else for his failure. But for some reason, that is exactly what he did. Watch it for yourself.
I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys. We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up.
I guarantee you, if Tua had any respect in the locker room, he lost it yesterday. Dudes do not respect snitches. Men take responsibility. Men take the fall publicly. Men don't throw 3 interceptions and blame the lack of attendance at involuntary meetings for the loss. From 2014 through 2016, Saints went 7-9 for 3 consecutive seasons. Drew Brees was in the final years of the prime of his career. Offense was explosive. The Saints were unstoppable. Problem was, their defense couldn't stop a steady stream of boogers. In those 3 years, you know how many times Drew Brees publicly called out the defense? You know how many times Drew Brees blamed his teammates? None. And the difference between Drew Brees and Tua, Drew Brees could get away with it. At that stage of his career, he had cemented his legacy. He was a proven winner. He'd already won a Super Bowl in New Orleans. Drew Brees could get away with whatever the hell he wanted, but he refused to do it because he didn't want to divide the locker room. Tua hasn't won a damn thing. Hell, he hasn't even won respect. He is in no position to be blaming his teammates for losses. I saw something similar to this when Derek Carr was in New Orleans. One of the many things that I didn't like about Donnie, he never held himself accountable. He would blame receivers. He would blame the offensive line. He would credit the other team for making a great play when the reality was Donnie just made a bad throw. Either way, Derek Carr never swallowed his pride. It created tension in the locker room. Players were not willing to have his back when the fan base turned against him. In the past 24 hours, Tua Tagovailoa has been crucified by the media. Guess how many teammates have come to his defense? Now, to be fair to Tua, he's definitely not the only problem in Miami. He is not the only one not respected by the locker room. Let me show you something. This is Mike McDaniel after the game yesterday. He's wearing pants that I would expect to see on my teenage daughter. You really think NFL players, you really think grown men have respect for capri pants guy? Mike McDaniel prides himself on being a player's coach. Don't call me coach, guys. That's way too formal. Call me Mike. We're all friends here. Let's hold hands and sing. I love you. You love me. My pants don't cover my knees. I look feminine, but I always have a grin. Soon I'll be fired by the Dolphins. Mike McDaniel missed a prime opportunity yesterday to potentially earn some respect in the locker room. Mike McDaniel came to the podium after Tua blamed his teammates. Obviously, the media asked Mike McDaniel about Tua's comments. Instead of saying that Tua should have kept his grievances private, instead of saying that Tua should have handled these issues with teammates in the locker room, Mike McDaniel actually praised Tua for being a good leader. Tua called out the team publicly. Wowzer! That is great! That's what real leadership looks like. I will always appreciate clear and direct communication. Clear and direct communication? Clear and direct communication would be Tua approaching his teammates face to face. Going public with his complaints is the complete opposite of clear and direct communication. Hell, his communication was so indirect and unclear, we don't know who in the hell Tua was talking about. The Dolphins are a disaster. Weak head coach, weak quarterback, and the team is a direct reflection of both of their personalities. Off the field, Drew Brees, nice dude. On the field, Drew Brees, tyrant. Same with Sean Payton. I don't see that dog in Tua, and I damn sure don't see it in Mike McDaniel. I don't think it's a bold prediction to say that Mike McDaniel is soon to be fired. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.